I'm very, very grateful to be here this afternoon, and I was so happy that Eastern Nigeria is on our travel schedule as well, because I feel like without traveling here, we don't know Nigeria. So it's wonderful to be here. And I just would like to speak very, very shortly about the Connecting the Dots program and what we are doing and why we are here. So the Goethe Institute is a German cultural and language institute. We are operating all over the world, and in Africa we have about 15 institutes. And in Nigeria we have one which is already 62 years old, so we are here quite a while. And maybe some of you know us already, maybe through our language courses, our language exams, and maybe even through our cultural program. And 2 years ago we decided that we would love to work more with museums in Nigeria, and we had several opportunities to work with Nigerian museums also in the past. So we already had a cooperation 2 years ago with the War Museum in Umuahia, and now we have, among 6 other museums, we have a cooperation with the Colonial History Museum here in Aba. So what we do is, like the title says, we try to connect the dots. We try to connect the dots of culture, cultural heritage, with people, with places, with landscapes, with histories, with memories. So we really try to make more connections, or the connections more visible. We know that there are a lot of connections, but sometimes these connections are not so visible at the moment. So with our project, we try to also make these connections more strong and more visible. So what we do is we decided to invite 6 young people to visit 6 Nigerian museums over 6 months. And here in Aba, it was Orinayo, Omulawa, and Orinayo was here for 6 months in Aba. And I remember that in the beginning, when we did our first conversation, we proposed you to go to Aba, and you were like, oh, really? I'm not sure. But then Orinayo took all her courage, and she came to Aba, and I think we will know from her much about her experience and how it went. And wherever we come, wherever we go, it's a wonderful and beautiful experience. And I see the start here in ABBA was already amazing. I enjoyed already a lot. And I want to thank the Colonial History Museum in ABBA for their motivation, for their openness, for being such a great host and a wonderful collaboration partner. And I'm very much looking forward the next days. And thank you, Mr. Amadi, Theophilos, and your team for being such a wonderful partner in this project, and we are looking forward much more to come. We can speak a lot about the project, but I don't want to take more of your time now because I know you've been waiting long already, and I would love that we can start the beautiful program this afternoon. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to start my talk by saying thank you to the Goethe Institute for initiating this program. And I would like to thank Nadine and Toby especially for encouraging me to come to ABBA. I would also like to thank my fellow cohorts. You people are superheroes, and I love you guys. Yeah. And I'm saving the best for last. I would love to thank the museum staff. They have welcomed me warmly and helped me throughout my stay here. So yes, a little bit about me. My name is Oriya Yodubawo, and I'm an architect, experienced designer, and a researcher. And I am deeply passionate about cultural heritage. So over the last 6 months, I've had the privilege of embarking on this fellowship and diving into the intricacy of intangible heritage and sacred landscapes in southeastern Nigeria. So today I'm going to be sharing some insights into my fellowship and discussing the significance of preserving intangible heritage and exploring sacred landscapes. The activities that I embarked on was that I conducted a lot of site visits to sacred forests, sacred sites, and I engaged in interviews with elders, priests, and community leaders. And then I basically undertook an extensive archival research trying to document and digitally preserve a lot of these cultures and traditions. So basically, the aim of my project was to document, interpret, and celebrate the intangible heritage that shapes the identity of the region. Next slide. So basically, I have gathered oral histories and documented rituals, songs, dances, and other expressions of intangible heritage. So yes, what is intangible heritage? Intangible heritage basically includes traditions, oral history, cultural practices that are passed down through generations that form an integral part of our community. And these are not limited to oral traditions, performance arts, and rituals. Why is it important for us to preserve our culture? Because if we allow our sacred landscapes and repositories of knowledge to die, and as modernity takes over, we have a risk of losing the traditions and basic and cultural diversity. Here is an example of why we have to preserve cultural heritage. I visited the Omoku temple in Ohafia, and I visited this place in March, and this place does not exist anymore because the roof has fallen down. So basically, I was one of the last people to document as is. So here, I was privileged to be in the shrine during one of the rites. While they were having the rites, I was able to speak and document the people that practice in the temple. So I spoke to the high priest, and we all had like different conversations and interviews. So here are some of the images. This is the I can't remember the name of the god right now. But yes, this is the shrine before it was collapsed because of rain. Next slide, please. This is another site, the Mazio Koroji house. They have done a good job of maintaining it so far. And we basically have a risk of losing all of these spaces because most people don't pay attention. People think that because these spaces are not religious or not attached to Christianity, that they don't have any importance in our culture or our heritage. And that is why they will die and will not have anything to look back on. So I urge everybody to not look back, not neglect their tradition because of religion. Yes, please continue. So yeah, here are some more images of the Omoku temple. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that the roof was already falling apart. It was already going down. Yeah, keep going. So yes, so on the course of my journey, I visited 3 sacred sites: Azumini, Arochukwu, and Ohum. So the Azumini Blue River is located just about 15 miles away from here. And the water is like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. It is so blue. It reflects the color of the sky and is very clear because of the minerals inside. It is such a beauty to behold. So if you do have the opportunity, please do go and visit. Okay, yes. Another thing too about how people are desecrating this space too will no longer exist in the next few months or years because of sand dredging. So the water that is already blue is turning brown. I don't know if the video down would have actually shown that the water that is blue is turning brown. So yes, next slide. Arochukwu. So Arochukwu is one of the cities that was formerly in the Southern Protectorate, that under the British government, and it's one of the cities in Abia that has a lot of historic sites. So in Arochukwu, we have the Ibinupabi shrine. The Ibinupabi, also called the Long Juju Cave, used to be the supreme court of the eastern region, or even in Nigeria, as I was told. So basically, if you do anything wrong, you will go to the Ibinupabi to sort out your problems. But as all the other spaces is already dying off. Next slide. So yes, here we have some pictures of what the cave looks like, and we also have some pictures and videos of the river that you have to cross to go into the cave. Next slide. So yes, also in Arochukwu we have this beautiful waterfall that the water is also connected to the Ibinupabi, and then it rushes down. And then we have Ohum. Ohum is located in Enugu, in Obun community in Enugu. And the waterfall was discovered by some monks. And now they have turned it into a holy site and a holy pilgrimage. And they are not wrong to create that, because the place gives a very serene and holy feeling. When you are there, you actually feel like you are in the presence of God to an extent. You feel very calm, you feel very serene, you feel very safe. So yeah, the only reason why Ohum is the way it is now is because it's being taken care of by the church. So basically, the other last thing I would want to say to everybody is, do you have a personal heritage, and how are you helping to preserve and keep our cultural heritage? Thank you very much.
Igo ntega n'olu mu holu medele ne mani pe osonye solo ya ya ani ati kata pike kambe ni ne fura ya ani ati kata pike osonye solo ya ya onye jata di na ike nye jaba di na ike amadi pe bra betenta wani ajishi darama wani ajishi bule wani ajishi alwa otirio aga ji ko je ji aga ji ko je ji every monday there is a man ndaya metamalu ndaya metiti bana la kamala seke ye wana miwe loka ibidi mali ya hama eba na mongo de ko ya mali bita we baganga na mumbe osonyeso boya na amadu modaru amadu bide jabata ngoto be alawona ibidi mali ya hama.
I actually came to Aba to undergo another project, but on getting here I realized that was not possible. So I came to Aba to work on something called urban morphology, which means that I wanted to study how the city developed. But then when I got here, I found out that it was not interesting enough or like comprehensive enough for me to study for 6 months, because I basically did it in 1 week. So, so I had to now think and like go back to the drawing board. But like, so basically we had a project presentation 2 weeks into my program, and we had a mentorship session where one of the mentors told us about a project in Iceland where they treated landscapes as an object. So basically I now realized that I could actually focus on landscapes, because at that point I noted that I'd been seeing a lot of beautiful rivers, a lot of beautiful spaces around. And I was like, oh yes, let me explore nature, let me explore the sacred spaces and see what they have to offer.
I mean, all the fellows applied. We gave them the choice to pick like a priority of museums they would like to visit. So each fellow, when they applied, were like having a priority list of 3 museums. ABBA, to be honest, was not Orinayo's first choice, because when you live in Lagos, a lot of people don't know much about the East, and sometimes the East is a bit like, we don't know. And to be honest, we had to talk to Orinayo and say like, maybe you want to come here, maybe you want to go to ABBA, and she wasn't sure in the beginning, but after a while, after being here for some weeks, she was very happy, because she found her very own journey into the place. Not only ABBA and the museum, but also she discovered landscapes, and that she made this her project. So she traveled to different landscapes, sacred landscapes, landscapes with meaning, and she made this her project.
I'm very happy that you asked that question actually, because it's something that like I actually wrote down that I was going to talk about in my presentation, that I noticed as well, because every space that I entered, they kept saying, yeah, I hope you know that we don't allow women, but like you're the exception because you're documenting. So I was privileged to experience a lot of things that women in generations have never experienced because I was documenting, because I was researching. And it just led me to ask a lot of personal questions like why? Like what has been the role of women in Eastern Nigeria especially, because I know that it's different, it's a little different in like other parts of Nigeria, but then I just felt a little sad that, so you mean that women have never been into these spaces, they've not experienced these things. So yeah, it's very crazy, and unfortunately it's culture, you can't change it. So I don't know how it can be addressed, but it's just, I guess, one of those things that maybe we have to think about how to do. But then it's also like something about what I've done, being able to document it, so more people than have witnessed it can witness it and experience it.
From the perspective of ICOMOS, it's a shame. It's a shame because Orinayo mentioned that some of the shrines that she visited, she's the last to document, which means if it is dilapidated, indigenous worship system is gone. So I cry in my heart for that. It's also a shame that we're not waking up to our responsibilities yet. You get what I mean? And Orinayo mentioned that one of those places is no more. She documented in March 2024. This is August 2024. So for that I cry. For the fact that Orinayo was given the opportunity and she took it on to work in Aba, I am happy. Because Orinayo is not Igbo in any way, but she's a Nigerian, and that's what counts. So it's a win-win, but it's a wake-up call that we need to do more to document our intangible heritage, what defines me as a person, but above all, what helps the Igbo people from Abia to create their own identity.
Well, the event has been a very glorious one. This is the 5th one in the series. The first one was held in my own university, and it has been a very good thing. I think Goethe has done something beautifully well. If the foreign government can be doing all this to preserve our culture, that shows that we need to preserve the culture, because we are losing our heritage, firstly, because of modern religion. People cannot justify between religion and culture. So what they've been doing for us actually is for us to preserve our heritage. They are helping us to preserve our heritage. So what I've seen today has been a very fantastic thing. has been a very good thing. It has been the performance of the artist, wonderful. And then the performance of the researcher herself, she has done beautifully well. What we need to do is that most of the places that she has identified that are being destroyed, we need to call the attention of the Abia State governor or government to see to the restoration of those things. Let them talk to the museum, let them give them funds, and let them restore the place.
I basically met the course in the past 1 week, and they are very lively, very interesting set of children.
I mean, for me, to be honest, the cohort project is the most exciting, not the most exciting, everything is exciting, but with the cohort it's always so amazing to see how much they take ownership of the project, because they are kind of the ones who go to the museum, they make the museums their own, the museum let them in, and they kind of find a relationship to culture and to the heritage, and they define it in their very own way, and that's very beautiful, because for them they find meaning in it, and they bring it into a contemporary form. And I think they are all around their 20s, and I mean they are very, some of them even below 20, and I think for them it's important to connect to that and make it their own, not in an old way that is boring, but something that is new and fresh, and that because we see like so much interest now in African cultures with films like Black Panthers and Wakanda and everything, and I think it's very important that people here also own this and make it their own, and then communicate it to the world, because out there like everybody looks at like Africa, Nigeria, and they want to have this content, and it's important that people own it first before they give it to the world.
I have this passion for poem writing, poem and songs. Well, the program I have enhanced my drawing skills, and more especially the poem aspects. Like I've been writing like dope poems ever since. Before I write poems without rhymes, but now all my poems are rhyming.
Truthfully, at first, when I came, it was kind of boring. But then when it came to the practical aspect, like you see people drawing, like you see people putting this passion into drawing. You be like, wait, I can draw. What am I waiting for? I picked up that pencil and I was like, wow, I made something beautiful.
A dream come true. We've been asking for this opportunity to collaborate with people to showcase the museum, and that opportunity came up. We saw it. I called my staff, come look at this. They said no, we cannot do it. Some say we cannot. I said let us be positive, and I applied, sent it to Goethe. After some months there was a reply. I was excited to have that. It was fun. So the task was much. Goethe was to provide the fund, we were to provide the environment and the manpower to educate the youth. Of course, we did the needful. They came on inspection, saw our environment. We said, we don't have environment, but we do make do with what we have. We don't have enough space, but whatever space we have, we use it and do what we can do. And they granted us the opportunity. Another task, to recruit the youth. Of course, I don't have enough staff. We are less than 15 there, about 15 staff, including casual workers. You can see what it means. So it wasn't easy, but we find it first rate.
I'd like to say thank you to both institutions. Actually, this project has been very, it has been life changing actually, because I got to create a project from scratch that I wanted, and yeah, and I started from idea to conceptualization to finishing, to executing, and showcasing now, and it's been a very wonderful experience. I'd like to thank everybody that I've met along the way, the other fellows, Toby and Nadine. Like I like thank Toby and Nadine because I didn't want to come to Aba, and then they asked me to think about it, and I thought about it, and I'm happy that I took the lead to actually come.